Hey, everybody, welcome to another edition of The Voice of Castle Law. This is your host, Gary Davidson. Today, we're going to talk about something that probably not a lot of us are thinking about. Real estate investing is not a novel concept. Anybody that's had two nickels to rub together has consistently thought about investing in real estate. And you hear all sorts of people talking about how to acquire assets, what you need to do to rehab a property, what's the best price point to sell a property. But the difference between the good investors and the great investors is how you manage that back office. Today, I have Jared Kott with me, very, very good friend. He owns one of the largest property management companies on the south side of Chicago. You work with a lot of these things. How did you get involved in this area?
Well, Gary, first, thanks for having me. I did not want to be in property management. It's not sexy. It doesn't seem to be fun. It's one of those things that sort of organically happen. So I was an investor first. I started buying two flats on the southeast side of Chicago. And I'll give you a quick story if that's okay.
Yeah.
So somewhere between the unit count of 10 and 15, it became very clear that tenants would really respond when I gave them my cell phone. And that was exactly what I told them to do if they had any problems. And I realized I did not want these calls. I did not want these problems. I didn't know how to correctly handle these issues. So I needed to get out and find a real good property management company. And I could not find that on the south side of Chicago, which is how Marblestone Property Group got created.
So Marblestone, when I think about property management and when you're managing an asset, I almost think about like trying to keep your house insulated, right?
Sure.
If we leave our windows open in the summer and we're running our air conditioners, those are dollars flying out.
Sure.
And when we're acquiring assets, if we're not making sure the rent's paid on time, that all of those small things that add up to a massive difference, that's the difference between being a successful investor and just being another person that made an attempt at it and failed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a great example about dollars going out the window because that's exactly what it is. You can take things as simple as, tenants not paying. You can take things as being overcharged from contracting costs. All of those things have to be really closely looked at.
So, overcharging for contractor costs. So, when properties get inspected on a yearly inspection from, whatever municipality it's in, how are you guys going about ensuring that those things are done properly and that that it's cost conscious and it's keeping that property actively collecting rent?
It's a great question. So the deal with Marblestone is this: we want to be fully 100% transparent with our customer. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a time and material cost in our contract. So that could be from anything from a furnace going out to
Wait a second. You said fully transparent.
fully transparent here, Gary. Yeah,
This is contractor work that's being done, and it's being done
right.
transparently. That's pretty novel in and of itself.
Well, what I found is, I'm an investor. I don't want surprises, right? And I don't want investors that we represent to have surprises. Now, granted, there will be issues that come up, but they're going to be fully transparent when they do come up. So no surprises. So take for an example, a lot of times a pilot light will go out on a furnace, right? That's not a big deal, but somebody has to fix it. Somebody has to have the know-how to fix it. So we have in-house crews that can handle that stuff. Where if you were to call, let's just say 123 Plumbing Company, they're going to invoice you through the roof. That one repair for the month is going to eat up all your cash flow.
Wow. It's funny too because it's not funny. I use that as a figure of speech, but before we get on, you met Renee Batuni, who's
Yeah.
handles all of our evictions for all the counties in the Chicagoland area, and especially, and I know you have a lot of assets in Chicago. The it is very, very perilous when you're talking about owning rental properties in the city of Chicago because if you don't do something right,
Oh,
and you're going to court,
yeah.
it could be thousands of dollars. The judge giving you the tenant multiple months to stay
Sure.
if you're not on top of those repairs.
Sure.
So how do you make sure that you minimize one of your clients' risk while maximizing the return?
Well, I think it's pretty simple. We're not a property management company that's we're gonna do like annual inspections. A lot of our work is done through subsidized CHA, so we're there minimum. If no calls were there, we're minimum once a year to make sure the asset's repaired. But we also have in our contract, would you like a twice a year checkup to go in there? And those checkups, do they cost a little bit of money? Yeah, say $300-400 to have somebody walk through and fix the minor repairs. But here's what it does, Gary. One, it keeps the tenant absolutely thrilled because most management companies don't come in and do things like that, right? Two, it's going to make sure that the asset's performing. And three, it's going to push out any deferred maintenance, right?
And this is
Think of things simple. Changing of the furnace filters, right? Making sure your water tanks are set right. Making sure that there's not, leakage of, like you said before, hot and cold air going right out the window during the, extreme temperature months.
and you started out, like you said, as an investor. So I'm assuming that you didn't come out of the womb or you didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to be an investor and know about all this stuff.
I learned the hard way.
You've learned the hard way.
Yeah, I've learned the hard way.
Every single one of those things you've probably screwed up, and that's how you've got this in your system.
That's why we started it. Yeah.
So, I speak to so many of my clients, and it's so important for me to see my clients have that legacy worth leaving and to create that life worth living, because that's what we get involved in real estate investing for. And sometimes people decide, hey, I'm going to go ahead and manage my own property, and I'm going to change my own toilet, and I'm going to do my own real estate closing, and I'm going to, and you can do all of those things. But what I like to tell people is, look, we have 24 hours in a day.
Yeah.
We have how many thousands of seconds. And so it's not a matter of whether you save money changing the toilet seat. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of how can you most maximize your time to get to the point where you have that life worth living. Because most of us get involved in real estate because we want a passive income, not an active income. And I see far too often that people oftentimes just are picking up pennies and the dollars are flowing out the window.
Stepping right over the dollars.
What type of what type of in general does it cost for property management with Cobblestone?
With Marblestone, so it's
not Cobblestone, Marblestone.
Marblestone.
I know it's some kind of stone.
That's all right.
I think I'm thinking about our buddy Matt Messick.
They're good folks over there at Cobblestone. So at Marblestone, we focus primarily on the south side of Chicago, right? It's not the easiest place to do business. We are certainly experts. I'm also a resident there, right? I know these neighborhoods. I know these blocks. It's 10% of the gross schedule rent. That's what we charge. Now, we will work out deals if there's volume. But if you think about it, $1,000 rent, $100, what we tell our customers, and we look at them as partners, is for $100, we're giving you your life back.
Right.
We are giving you your life back. And to me, if I found someone that took care of properties the way that Marblestone does, I wouldn't be in this business.
This program is not about shamelessly self-promoting anything, but I want to give you an analogy with real estate closings. I'll have clients all the time. We'll charge $600 for a real estate closing, and someone will take a day off of work. Mm-hmm. They will go to a closing. They'll spend all day there, and they could have been doing, their time. Is their time worth that? Right. Where we scale that out for them. Exactly. And the reality is I love looking at their closing statements because I always look at it and say, I could have saved you $500 on your title expenses. You could have had a free attorney. And I'm not saying that for the purposes of telling any of you, like, use me. It's just an analogy for something like this, that we have to think about being smarter as investors.
Absolutely.
And you've got to work on what makes you money and outsource the rest. Yeah. That is the key to your success as an investor, is You need to focus on those activities that have the highest return on investment. And then you need to outsource the other activities to the experts, somebody like Marblestone, who can help you focus on growing and scaling your business, because it's about having a mindset of abundance. It's about having a mindset of making that pie much larger, not just having that pie that you're going to take and you're going to eat and you're going to consume all yourself, but having that abundance mentality. That's what I love about your whole mindset. I've been following you for a long time. What else? I mean, property management, it's the most unsexy thing.
Yeah.
It is the most unenjoyable thing, but it's those small things that will make a difference on whether or not literally
It's
a
make or break
person is
deals.
going to be making money or not.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, Gary, they overlook property management, right? They get the deal, they size it up, it makes sense. Now they're going to put it in the rental portfolio. And we've heard it time and time again. Well, I'll just go find a property manager. Well, that's great. Find a good one. Interview them. Get to know them. Ask people. I want people to ask, why should we hire Marblestone? Why should we become partners with you, right? And what I like to tell our partners is, I'm right there with you. I'm an investor, meaning I understand what it's like to have a vacancy. I understand what it feels like when those furnaces really do blow out and there's a big charge. I get that. I feel that pain. We're going to work through it together.
I love that. I love the fact that you use the term partner. One of the terms that makes my skin crawl, it gets me so aggravated, is when people refer to me or I hear my attorneys refer to other people as vendors.
Oh, that's small-minded.
I don't, if you are a business owner, if you are a property investor, if you work for a municipality, any one of our clients, I would suggest to you, you eliminate the term vendor, because when you talk about vendor, it's money in exchange for service. And the value in working with somebody like Jared, and the reason that you're a friend of mine, is because we recognize that it's a partnership.
Absolutely.
That it's something that we're going to help each other grow, that we're going to pull each other along, that we're going to grow with each other, not because of each other. We're going to help grow with each other, not in spite of each other.
Exactly.
So, Jared, thanks so much.
Thank you, Gary.
We at Castle Law are here, and we're focused on helping you create that business worth owning, that life worth living, and that legacy worth leaving.